Now, as we've opened up Blender on our device, now first thing what I have to do is going to be showing you a bit about modeling. Now, I'm going to have like a couple of different parts of this specific video because obviously we will not be able to end it up on one video, which will make it very large. So the first thing what I have to do over here is going to select all of them over here. Make sure you're connected with the internet most of the time when you're using Blender. And now what I'm going to do is going to be deleting this just by pressing on delete or pressing on X. So I'm going to press on X over here, or you can press on delete. That's basically up to you how you want to work with it. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to need another cube. So I'm going to press on Shift and A, click on Mesh, and then press on Cube. And I'm going to scale it up just a bit. There we go. That's the perfect shape which I need right now. Now the thing what I'm going to do is going to be showing you a couple of different things which you have to follow up. So over here, as we have put in our element or put in our cube, we have to edit our own, let's say, cube to make it look like a house. So we're going to go step by step, so make sure not to skip any part. So the first thing, what we're going to do over here is going to be zooming in and out to get our exact type of view which we want. Now, another thing is that just like I've shown you is that how you can emulate your keyboard just by pressing the number on your keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to just get the front view. You can do that. Okay, but what we're going to do over here is that I'm going to go off the preferences right now. I'm going to turn it off because I already have a number key, and I'm going to be needing the number keys on the top of my keyboard a bit later. Now, what we're going to do over here is that we're going to move on to our edit mode. Now, to move on to our edit mode, what we're going to do is first off, select up the elements, and you can press on tab on your keyboard. So you can either press on tab, or you can go off over here on object mode, and you can see there are a couple of them. So we can go either off the edit mode, then we have also like the sculpt mode, then the vertex points, and the weight paint, and also the texture paint. But from here, I'm just going to move on to the edit mode from here. Now you can see that it will look like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to change it to cycles instead of EV so that it looks a lot more better. Okay, and a bit more realistic. So as we have our edit mode turned on, now we can see these points over here. So when we see these points over here, we'll be able to change or select each and every one of these points. And whenever we are selecting it, you will basically see that the point will turn out to be yellowish and white. So when you are selecting these are basically called the vertices. Okay, so these are vertices, and when you select one, it's called the vertex. Okay, so you can select them and also change them however you want. Another thing is that you can select multiple or a couple of them at the same time. How would you do that? You have to just click on Shift, and now you can see that I have selected the whole thing, and part of the face or the face of the cube has been selected. Okay, and there are also different modes which I'm going to show you. Now, if you want to change the mode, now we are selecting only vertices. But what if you want to select the edge? Now you can press on 2 on your keyboard, and now you'll be able to see that only the edges of the cube is being selected. You can see from one vertex to another vertex, the middle line over here is being highlighted. So this is how you'll be able to change the modes. Okay, so you can also press on 3, and now you'll be able to select on the face. Okay, so this is how it looks like. You can see now I can select the face. If I want to select multiple of them, you can just press on Shift, and you can use it however you want. And another thing you have to keep in mind that if you have turned on emulate number pad on preferences, well, it will basically not work because those will be assigned to different type of views. But as I already have a number pad on my keyboard, now I can use it too. But when I use the top of my keyboard or the numbers, now I can change from vertex mode, then I can change to edge mode or the face mode. Okay, you can find these over here. You can toggle through them. You can see the select mode, which is vertex select. Then we have is the edge select, and then we also have is the face select. Okay, so you can select it however you want, whichever one feels comfortable. Now, as we know a bit about the selection, okay, so now what we're going to do is going to be using loop cut to make a slice in between our shape or in between our cube. Now, how would you do that? Which is going to be very simple. First off, what you have to basically do is press on Control and R. Okay, now when you press on Control and R, you will basically see something like this as an interface. You can see one could be on the x-axis, you can see it over here, and one could be also on the y or the z axis. You can make the cut however you want. Now let's say I'm going to do is keep this center over here, and now when you click on it, you'll basically see that where you want the cut or on which edge do you want the cut to be. So I'm going to do is just keep it in the center, and I'm going to press on left. But if you're using the right click on your mouse, you can also press on your right mouse key, and it will make a create on, or make a split on the center. Now, as I'm selecting the center, now I don't want to use the edges, so I'm going to do is either select the vertex over here, and I'm not going to be selecting them, and I'm going to get myself in a view so that I can see all of the vertices. Okay, now from here I'm going to press on Shift, and there we go. We have selected the whole face, and now I want to delete one part of this cube, so I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to press on X. Now when you press on X, it's going to allow you to select which part of the cube do you want to delete. Now you can either select the face. When you press on face, you can see only one part of the face has been deleted, but I want all of this section to be deleted, so I'm going to press on Control Z to undo the process, and press on X, and I'm going to do is just press on vertices. Now when you press on vertices, you will basically see that the whole separation of this cube or the other section of the cube has been removed. Now you can see that as this is removed, this is going to be very simple for us to use one part of this cube. And we can also use modifier to apply another mirror of this specific cube. So I'm going to be doing that because I'm going to need that, and which is going to make my modeling a lot more easier, because whenever I use mirror and when I'm editing only one part of the video or one part of the cube, another part of the cube will automatically be readjusted. So to do that, first things first, I'm going to do is click on that option over here. I'm going to select this, or you can also press on Tab to select it, or move on to object mode. And now when I'm on object mode, I'm going to go off to modifier over here, and I'm going to click on add modifier. You can add your own modifier however you want. You can click on that, and you can search for the ones which you want to use. But from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use, let's say, mirror. So in the generate over here, I'm going to use this mirror option, and now you can see that we have our whole cube back again. Another thing is that when you move on to the tab or the select, or let's say the edit mode, and you press on A, you can see only one side is selected because the other part is just mirroring itself. Okay, so let's say if I select on these vertices, I'm going to select on both of them, and if I press on G and move it, you'll basically see the other part is also moving. It's because the other part is just mirroring itself, or mirroring this other part, or the edited part of the cube. Okay, so make sure to keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to press on Control Z. I'm going to just press on escape so that I can move back again. Now I'm going to use the top view or the front view to get my model of the house, which is going to be very simple for us. First thing what I'm going to do is that use your numpad on your keyboard, and this is basically the top view. Now from here, our top view, I'm going to do is keep it on the front. It's basically up to you how you want to work with it. So I'm going to do select on both of these, and now I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to do is just press on G, and then I'm going to do is going to be pressing on Z or Z on your keyboard, and then you can toggle. Okay, you can see now it is giving us almost a shape of the house, and now you can see how this exact shape or the mirror is basically very helpful for us. Another thing is that when you press on A and when you are mirroring, you can also clip it up. Okay, so one thing I'm going to show it to you right now is that let's say I'm going to do is use this object or use this point again. So I'm going to press on that, and when I press on G, when I drag it out, you can see that it is now splitting up. It's not together anymore. So if you want to keep both of them together, I'm going to press on Control G. If you press on clipping, and if you just select both of them or select the sides, and let's say I'm going to press on G and drag it out, now you can see that it will not get separated. Okay, so this is how it works. So make sure to try it out. So I'm going to press on Z or escape so that I can get out of the editing process. Another easier method of seeing the difference is that when I click or deselect this clipping and I press on A, and if I want to move it, you can see this is now going out. So I'm going to do is just press on escape and keep it however it was, and try turning on clipping, because it will just help you to secure your object on on your workspace. And another thing is that we can see that this part is quite long. So I want to also adjust it to be a bit shorter. Now, how would I do that? But before we're getting into that, I'm going to show you different types of viewing mode. Now, one thing what you can do over here is that when you are pressing on Z, you'll basically see a pie chart type of interface will open up. These are 4 different type of viewing modes. Well, if you've seen my previous lessons, you already know about it almost, but not the shortcut key. You can see this options over here. You can see one is going to be the viewport shading. Then we have is the solid mode or the viewport shading over here. And then we also have is the method, the 3D view, material view, and then the last one which we have is the render display. So if you want to toggle through them easier on your workspace, just press on Z, and then we have the solid mode. Then we have the wireframe. Then we also have is the material preview. Then we have is the rendered mode. So on the rendered mode, it will take a more time to render up because it's going to give you a realistic type of effect as you are using cycle. But if you're using EV, you will basically see that it will give you real time. Let me just change it into wireframe, and you can see how easy it is, and you can see that it is all hollow. Okay, so this is just going to show you about the wireframes, and you can also adjust it however you want on this editing or viewing mode too, because it's just going to be the different type of view, but nothing else is being changed. So I can also move on to solid view and see all of them, it's white. And then I can also see material view because I have not applied any material over here. Now the thing what I'm going to do is going to be reducing the size of this, and you can also toggle through each and every one of them if you want to. So I would suggest you that whenever you're working, use the solid mode or the solid view, or you can also try wireframe view because it also gives you a good idea about the points, and it also makes your work a lot more easier. Okay, so try using that. Another thing is that on each and every one of the views, it works very different. So let me just show it to you. So if I press on B over here and I'm going to select on the parts, you can see this part has been selected too. Okay, so this part has been selected with this, vertices only. So you can see each and every part of the vertices has been selected. I'm going to press on B again. I'm going to press or select on this, and you can see we have the whole face. Now, whenever you are using the solid mode, if I press on B and if I select on this, what I'm going to do is just show it to you. I'm going to press on 1 to be the front view. And if I select on this, you can see only the front part of the whole thing has been selected. If I move on to, let's say I'm going to press on Z now. I'm going to move on to the solid. You can see this is how it works. B. Only the front part has been selected. If I just move on to the rendered mode, and if I select on B and select all of them together, and you can see this is also selecting the front part. Only in wireframe, whenever I am selecting, I'm just going to press on 1, and if I press on B and select the whole thing, the whole face of the top part will be selected at once. So all of those, viewing angles and all of those different type of views also help you in your work. You can see now only the front part selected. Press on B, try selecting, and now you can see if you have a bit of corner on it, then it will select the whole face, or else only the let's say wireframe mode is going to help you to select up the whole face of the top part or the part you've selected. Okay, so make sure to keep that in mind and try using it however you want to make your work a lot more easier and speed it up. Now, as we've selected up our, the part of this, now what I'm going to do is going to be zooming out a bit more, and I want the front view. So first off, let's just move on to our wireframe mode. So I'm going to do is just press on B, select up the part which we need to select. And now from here, what I'm going to do is going to be pressing on G so that I can reduce the size. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size only on the Z axis. So I'm going to take it a bit at the bottom. There we go. So this is the size which I want, and after you're done, you're just gonna press on the left mouse key or the right mouse key, whichever one you're using, and there we go, we almost have it. So I'm gonna move on to our solid mode, and there we go, we have it. I'm gonna select on this one over here, press on G, and I'm gonna do is just select on Z and take it a bit at the top so that we can see it over here. G again, Z again, and there we go. We have our house over here. Okay, so as we have our cube or as we have our model, now the thing with what I'm going to do is going to be applying myself a door. Now if I want to apply myself a door, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting the part which I do not need. So first off, press on Control and R, and now I can also apply a loop cut over here. Now when I click on that, I will be able to apply it wherever I want. So I basically want half the size. So I'm going to do is just take it over here. I'm going to press on Control R again, and I'm going to apply one over here. And now you can see that this is slanted. It's slanted because, the top part over here is also slanted. So I'm going to do select one part over here, and we can also select this area, and also we can fix it up. So first thing what we can do is that I'm going to press on Control Z, and now I'm going to do is press on Control R, select that, and I'm going to press on 0 to actually fix it up. So I'm going to do is just adjust it wherever I want. So I'm going to press on Control R again, and I'm going to keep it over here, and I want this angle to be over here. Okay, so what you're going to do is going to be just applying it, and you can also scale it up however you want to. So I'm going to do is just press on this as it has been applied. From here, what I'm going to do is going to be scaling this part up only to, to make it flat. So I'm going to select on this, press on S. And now you can see that I can select it on, each and every angle. You can also grab it if you want to, you can rotate it, but I want to scale it only on the Z axis. So I'm going to press on this over here, and you can also put in your number, 0, and there we go. We have fixed the slanted one into our, a flat one. Okay, so from here, as we are done, we can also remove out these angles and remove out the parts which we do not need. So if you want to make yourself just that specific, part, or just that specific, let's say, box, or to make the door, what you can do is just press on Shift and remove it just like this. Right click. And you can also press on X if you want to, press on X, and then remove only the face. And now you can see that we have made ourselves a door for the house. So this is how simple it is on Blender to make yourself a model. Now another thing is that when you move off to the other angles, you'll be able to see a lot of these, lines. But when you go off the render mode, you can basically see how it will actually look like. Okay, and obviously when you apply in a couple of other materials, other colors, it will not be looking this bad. Okay, so this is basically how you'll be able to remove out certain parts and also make yourself a door on Blender. Okay, so hope you understood everything about this part of the lesson. And now what we can do is that save it up. So if you want to save it up, you can go off the file, and then we have this option of save. Click on that option, find out the part where you want to save it. So what I'm going to do is just save it on my desktop, or let's say I'm going to go off to Blender, and here I want to save it as, let's say, model house. Okay, and I'm going to do is just save up the Blender file, and that specific file has been saved. And now the rest of the edits which I'm going to do is going to be shown on the part 2 of this specific lesson. So make sure not to skip any part. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about how you can model up your own elements and subjects in Blender. Without any further ado, let's just hop on to our next part of this lesson. And if you still have any confusion about this part of the lesson, feel free to ask me. I'm always there to help you up. So let's move on to the second part of modeling your elements in Blender.